ISO, the power of one decision. There's a moment that eventually finds all of us. A quiet, uncomfortable moment when we look at our lives and admit something painful. This isn't what I pictured. Maybe you've had that moment already. Maybe you've caught your own reflection and thought, how did I end up here? I know exactly what I should be doing, so why do I keep putting it off? Here's the hard truth. Your life doesn't shift because you finally find more time. It doesn't shift because the perfect opening shows up, or because everyone around you suddenly gets on board. Your life shifts the instant you decide that who you are right now can't be who you still are tomorrow. Let me say this plainly. A single day can bend the whole direction of your life. Not because 24 hours contains some magic formula. Not because your day, open your eyes tomorrow and suddenly have it all figured out. But because one day, lived on purpose, can be the day you stop bargaining with your own potential. The day you run out of excuses. The day you finally prove to yourself what you're actually made of. Every meaningful transformation in history traces back to one decision. One person who said, I refuse to keep living beneath what I'm capable of. One person who decided their future was worth more than their comfort. We love to celebrate the finished product. We see the entrepreneur who built the company. We see the athlete lifting the trophy. We see the speaker under the lights. What we don't see is the quiet afternoon when that person sat alone, looked honestly at their situation, and chose differently. That choice was invisible, private, but its ripple effects became impossible to miss. Your habits are votes. Asterisk, nobody talks about this enough. Your whole future is buried inside your everyday decisions. A habit isn't just something you repeat. It's a vote for the person you're turning into. Every morning, you cast that vote. Choose discipline over ease, and you're telling your future self it matters. Choose growth over distraction, and you're investing in someone you haven't met yet. Choose action over avoidance, and you're saying your dreams have earned your effort. Here's something I learned a long time ago. People rarely fail because they lack talent. They fail because they slowly stop showing up for themselves. Small compromises pile up. Important decisions get postponed. Mediocrity starts to feel acceptable. Fleeting emotions are allowed to override lasting opportunities. And then, without quite noticing, years have slipped by. The real danger was never failure. Failure teaches you something. It sharpens you. It exposes your blind spots. The real danger is getting too comfortable inside a life that doesn't reflect who you're by. It's saying, comfort has a soft, convincing voice. Tells you tomorrow is soon enough. Tells you you're doing fine. Tells you maybe that dream was never realistic to begin with. Listen long enough, and comfort turns into a cage dressed up as peace. Somewhere underneath it all, you know better. You know there are goals you walked away from, promises to yourself you never kept, and that creates its own unique ache. Not the ache of hard work, the ache of, what if I had actually tried? Here's the trade you're always making, whether you realize it or not. Discomfort of discipline is temporary. Discomfort of regret can follow you for the rest of your life. Person who gets up early, who studies, who trains their body, who sacrifices ease, they feel discomfort today. Person who avoids all of that feels a different discomfort tomorrow. One builds you, the other haunts you. You don't get to skip discomfort entirely. You only get to choose which kind. You can't have it both ways. Asterisk, every meaningful life demands sacrifice. The only real question is, what you're willing to give up? Comfort, to build something extraordinary? Or your dreams, to keep comfort intact? You can't. Fill your mornings with distraction and still expect to construct an extraordinary future. You can't feed your mind a steady diet of negativity and expect to build unshakable confidence. You can't stay surrounded by people without direction and expect to hold on to your own focus. Your surroundings shape your thinking. Your thinking shapes your actions. Your actions shape your results. And your results eventually become your life. So if you want a different life, start with the person living it. Asterisk reclaiming a single day. Asterisk reclaiming. This is where real transformation starts, not with some unrealistic plan that collapses in 72 hours. It starts with reclaiming one day where you actually pay attention, one day where autopilot gets switched off and you decide your mind, your body, your habits, and your future are worth your full attention. Picture waking up tomorrow and making yourself one promise. Today, I will not waste who I am. Not next week. Not once things get easier. Today, because today is the only place life is actually happening. Yesterday's already a memory. Tomorrow's still just a maybe. Today is where your power lives. People who transformed their lives didn't get handed extra hours or some special cosmic permission. They had the same 24 hours everyone else gets. The difference is, they finally used those hours on purpose. A single well-used day starts generating proof. Proof that change is possible. Proof that you can keep a promise to yourself. Proof that you're stronger than your own excuses. Real confidence isn't built from positive thinking. It's built from kept promises. Every time you say you'll do something and then follow through, you strengthen your trust in yourself. Every time you don't, that trust erodes a little. The relationship with yourself is the most important one you're by. You can change your job, your city, your friend group, but you can never leave yourself behind. So ask yourself honestly, are you becoming someone you'd respect? Someone your future self would thank? Because success isn't only about acquiring more, it's about becoming more. A bigger dream needs a bigger version of you. Greater opportunities require greater preparation. A better life is built on better habits. Vision without action is just a wish. So many people want a different outcome while clinging to the exact behaviors that created their current situation. They want financial freedom but won't learn new skills. They want confidence but won't challenge themselves. They want better health but won't change their routine. This is what separates the dreamer from the builder. A dream without discipline is just a nice thought. A goal without consistent action is just a wish. But combine vision with steady action, and something remarkable starts to happen. What once felt impossible starts to move. The person who used to doubt themselves starts to surprise themselves. Momentum builds, and momentum might be one of the most underrated forces in human life. Success rarely comes from one dramatic push. It comes from small actions, repeated so often they eventually become unstoppable. Nobody becomes extraordinary because of a single perfect day. They become extraordinary because they string together enough good days that the whole trajectory changes. Water doesn't carve stone through force. It does it through repetition. A tree doesn't start as a tree. It starts as a seed that keeps growing, day after unremarkable day. That's the compound effect. Small, consistent choices, producing results that look impossible from the outside. Most people underestimate small actions, precisely because the results aren't instant. One page read, one workout done, $1 saved. None of it feels like much in the moment. Life doesn't reward intensity in isolated bursts. It rewards consistency. Improve by just 1% a day, and in a few years you're a fundamentally different person. Version of you 5 years from now is already being shaped by what you choose today. So, what are you practicing? What are you training yourself to become? Your mind is a garden. Whatever you plant, you eventually harvest. Plant fear, and fear grows. Plant excuses, and excuses multiply. Plant discipline, plant courage, plant curiosity, plant gratitude, and something else entirely starts to take root. Your thoughts shift, your actions shift, your sense of who you are shifts. And once your identity changes, everything downstream of it changes too. Real, lasting transformation never starts with what you have. It starts with what you believe about yourself. Someone who says, "I keep my commitments," behaves differently than someone who doesn't. Believe that about themselves. Your identity drives your behavior, and your behavior writes your future. So today's challenge is simple. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting to feel ready, because honestly, almost nobody ever does. The people who accomplish extraordinary things simply decide the moment has arrived, doubts and all. They move while they're still afraid. Courage was never the absence of fear. It's choosing to move forward anyway. Two people, same struggle, different stories. Sometimes the hardest part is fighting. Years of old programming, years of maybe later, years of I'm not ready yet, years of quietly accepting less than you deserve. But the moment you finally act, something inside you wakes back up. And once that part of you stirs, you begin to see yourself differently. You start to notice that maybe the real obstacle was never the world outside. Maybe it was the conversation running on a loop inside your own head. Two people can face the exact same setback and walk away with completely different futures. One looks at the difficulty and concludes, "This proves I can't." The other looks at the same difficulty and concludes, "This is where I find out what I'm capable of." Same circumstance, different interpretation, different meaning attached to the struggle, and that difference changes everything. Downstream. Seed doesn't become a tree because growing is easy. It becomes a tree by pushing through resistance, by fighting the weight pressing down on it. That pressure doesn't destroy the seed. It reveals what was already inside it. People work the same way. Difficult seasons aren't always obstacles meant to stop you. Sometimes they've relief with the exact process that builds the version of you your biggest opportunities will require. Choosing your response to struggle. Every person who's built something meaningful has hit a point where quitting would have been the easier option. Every founder has wondered if it would actually work. Every athlete has questioned whether the training was worth it. Every student has wondered if the sacrifice would pay off. The difference between the people who push through and the people who stay stuck was never that. One group avoided doubt entirely. Everyone doubts. The difference is which voice they chose to listen to, the doubt or the purpose underneath it. The goal was never to build a life free of problems. That life doesn't exist. The goal is to build the kind of strength that can handle problems when they show up, because they will. Every test is a choice in disguise. Become bitter or become better. Complain about the mountain, or become the person who climbs it. Where your attention goes, your life follows. Your attention might be the single most valuable resource you own. Spend it on fear, comparison, and negativity, and you're quietly giving your power away. Invest it in learning, building, and growing, and you're constructing a stronger version of yourself. Every single day, countless things are competing for your focus. Entire industries are built on capturing it. But when you hand over your attention without noticing, you're handing over pieces of your future along with it. You can't build your own dream while pouring all your energy into watching somebody else's. At some point, you have to reclaim ownership. My mind belongs to me. My time belongs to me. My choices belong to me. That's where real freedom actually starts, not in having everything you want, but in recognizing you hold the power to steer where your life goes. Responsibility isn't a burden, it's power. It means your past explains where you started, but it doesn't get the final word on where you finish. Plenty of people started with nothing and built something remarkable. Plenty failed repeatedly and still broke through. They weren't handed perfect circumstances. They had determination, a willingness to learn, and the courage to actually begin. Asterisk the quiet decision that changes everything. Picture an ordinary person who wakes up one day, tired of repeating the same year on a loop. They start waking up a little earlier. They read for 30 minutes. They start taking better care of their body. They cut the hours that were quietly draining them. At first, nobody notices. Friends might not understand. Family might question the change. Results don't show up right away. But underneath the surface, something important is happening. They're rebuilding, one quiet decision at a time. Before the world ever sees the transformation, they feel it first. Internally, growing confidence, growing discipline, growing self-respect. That's something no amount of money can buy. There's a particular kind of confidence that only comes from surviving something hard, from keeping a promise to yourself when nobody else was watching. So ask yourself, what would one full day of real commitment look like? Not a day that fixes everything, but a day that reminds you of your own capacity for change. Motivation starts you. Discipline finishes you. A mentor once told me, the direction of your life is set by the direction of your habits, not your wishes, not your intentions, but what you actually repeat when motivation disappears. And it will disappear. There will be mornings without inspiration, days full of self-doubt, moments when the initial excitement fades completely. That's exactly when discipline has to take over. Motivation is a feeling. Discipline is a decision. And the people who change their lives learn to make decisions that serve their future even when their present mood disagrees. Every small victory adds up. Every time you follow through on what you told yourself you'd do, you're stacking evidence. Evidence that you can overcome old patterns. Evidence that your future is worth fighting for. Slowly, you start building something more valuable than any single success. An identity. You become the kind of person who naturally does the things that create good outcomes. You no longer have to force it, because growth has become part of who you are. Different direction. Not a different life asterisk a ship. Doesn't need an entirely new ocean to reach a new destination. It needs a slightly different heading. Small correction early on creates a completely different outcome thousands of miles later. Your life works the same way. You may not need a new life. You might just need a new direction. You might not need more opportunities. You might need to become someone ready for the ones already in front of you. Knowledge only becomes wisdom once it's applied. You can absorb thousands of ideas and still be stuck if you never act on a single one. The person who takes an imperfect step forward will always outpace the person waiting for perfect conditions that never arrive. Here's something worth remembering. Confidence doesn't come before the action. It comes from the action. People often say, "Once I feel confident, I'll start." It works the other way around. The uncomfortable first step comes first. Difficult conversation comes first. The early morning comes first. Confidence follows. It's not something you find. It's something you manufacture through repetition. Your future self is watching. Every choice you make today is quietly shaping the person you'll meet later. Will that person look back and say, "Thank you for starting when it was hard"? Or will they wonder why you kept waiting? Waiting feels safe, but it has a hidden cost. Every day you delay, you're spending time you can never get back. Money can be earned again. Opportunities can reappear. Yesterday is gone permanently. So many people spend years saying, "One day I will. One day I'll start the business. One day I'll get healthy. One day I'll learn that skill." One day isn't a date on any calendar. It's where dreams quietly go to die while action never shows up. People who build extraordinary lives understand something simple. There is only today. Today is where the habits get built. Today is where the future actually starts. You don't have to rebuild your entire life in one morning. You just have to begin. The smallest step in the right direction beats the biggest dream left untouched. Someone who walks a mile every single day eventually travels farther than someone who only ever talks about the journey. Letting go is part of growth too. Growth isn't only about adding good things. Sometimes it's ever toward ease, about removing what's quietly wrecking you, letting go of old excuses, letting go of the need for everyone's approval, letting go of habits that are stealing your future. That's hard because people get attached to familiar things even when those things are hurting them. "This is just who I am" can quietly turn into a prison, when the truth is, who you are today isn't the final draft. Your past is a chapter, not the whole book. Maybe you've made mistakes, wasted time, made choices you'd take back. But the real question was never, "Why wasn't I better yesterday?" It's, "What can I do today to be better tomorrow?" Every mistake is potential feedback. Every setback is potential preparation. Failure is an event, not an identity. You failed at something. That doesn't make you a failure. The story isn't finished while you're still willing to grow. Preparation meets opportunity. Someone can spend years believing they're not built for success, watching everyone else move ahead, quietly absorbing the wrong story about themselves. Then, one day, they make a small, undramatic decision to improve, just a little, every single day. 1 hour of learning, one better habit, one kept promise. Nothing changes visibly at first, but internally, everything shifts. They stop seeing themselves as someone waiting for success and start seeing themselves as someone preparing for it. Opportunity doesn't always announce itself in advance. When it finally shows up, the real question isn't whether it exists, it's whether you're become someone capable of handling it. People see the finished achievement. They rarely see the thousands of quiet decisions behind it. That's exactly why the process matters. It's where patience gets built, where discipline becomes second nature, where you discover you're capable of far more than you assumed. The choice is always right now. Asterisk. The person who transforms their life isn't nations. It's the one who waits for the perfect day. It's the one who decides that today is the day. Today is the day the excuses stop. Today is the day you stop letting fear make your decisions for you. Somewhere down the road, you'll look back and remember this exact moment. The moment you finally took yourself seriously. The moment you stopped asking, "What if I fail?" and started asking, "What if I actually succeed?" Your future isn't built from what you wish for. It's built from what you consistently do. Your destiny isn't decided in one giant moment. It's shaped in the small, invisible decisions nobody else sees. The early morning, the hard choice, the discipline when motivation runs dry. Every one of those moments is quietly building you. A vote, cast daily, for the person you're becoming. So choose carefully. Choose growth over comfort. Choose discipline over distraction. Choose courage over fear. Because the real tragedy was never trying and falling short. It's reaching the end of the road and realizing you never gave yourself an honest shot. Never finding out what you were actually capable of. Don't let a temporary feeling cost you a permanent opportunity. A storm doesn't destroy every tree. Some grow stronger because of what they survived. You're no different. Your new beginning starts today, asterisk. You're not here to just get by. You're here to grow, to build, to become who you were always capable of being. But that person won't show up on their own. You have to build them, day by day, choice by choice. The world doesn't need a flawless version of you. It needs the committed version, the one who gets back up, who keeps learning, who keeps moving even when the road gets hard. So when you wake up tomorrow, don't wake up as the same person who went to sleep tonight. Wake up with a new standard. Protect your mind, protect your time, protect your dreams. Feed the habits that build your future instead of the ones quietly dismantling it. Keep one promise today, then another tomorrow, then another the day after that. Slowly, quietly, but powerfully, you'll become someone you once could only imagine. Someone who no longer needs permission. Someone who no longer fears the next challenge. Someone who finally understands their real competition was never another person. It was always the weaker version of themselves they had to outgrow. So make the decision. Not a passing emotion, not a burst of excitement, an actual decision. Decide your past can teach you without controlling you. Decide your circumstances can challenge you without defining you. Decide your future is worth the sacrifice. A year from today, you'll either be grateful you started or wishing you had. The choice is being made right now, not someday, not later, right now. This moment is a doorway. Walk through it. Your future isn't waiting on someone else. It's waiting on you. Mark Douglas.